All right. Now, if y'all finished, basically, we've got two things that I want to just go over right quick today, and that's the relative versus the theoretical, but also the large number rule. So, with that, let's talk about what y'all just did. All right, Ms. Kapler, what did y'all pick for the cards? Red. So the red cards would be a what? They're 26 out of what? 52, which is equal to 0.5 probability of theoretical probability. And what did you come out with when you actually did the red? 3 out of what? That would be 3 out of 10. You did 3 times. Okay, so that equals 0.3. So 0.5 does not equal 0.3. Okay, Ms. Slack, what did y'all say y'all wanted? Face cards. So face cards would be 12 out of 52, which is equal to 0.25. And what did you actually get? 0. Well, y'all suck. So 0 is not equal to 0.25. Okay? Ms. Swinger, who did y'all's recording? What did you want? Face card. So again, that'd be 0.25. And what did y'all end up with? How many times did you get a face card? 5 times? Somebody rigged the deck back there. 5 out of 10 is equal. Did y'all shuffle each time? That's the highest I've ever seen somebody get a face card in all my classes. Wow. But still, 0.25 does not equal what? 0.5. And Ms. Briscoe, what did y'all get? You did red card, N 0.5. And what did you come out with? 2 out of 10.
Well, we did, it was 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10? Okay, 4 out of 10, which is what? 0.4. And 0.4 does not equal 0.5. What do you see? What's the pattern that you see here? The theoretical does not equal what? The physical, or the relative, whatever they call it. Okay? It doesn't match. They don't equal. Okay, let's go to the die. Ms. Kapler, what did y'all try to get on the die? I can't figure out what I'm doing. Okay, you wanted a 4. So a 4 out of 6 would be equal to 2 out of 3, which is equal to 0.67. So she's wanting a 4, the number 4. How many times did you hit 4? 3 out of 20. Well, divide by 2 over 2, that's equal to 10, and that's equal to 1.5, so that's equal to 0.15. Not equal. Okay, Ms. Slack, what did y'all want? A 3 out of 6, which is equal to, again, 1/6. I'm sorry, this is 1/6, which is 0.16. I was thinking 4 out of 6. I'm sorry. That's why I put the number sign there. 1 out of 6, which is equal to 0.16. Still, it's not equal. Okay, it's close, but not equal. All right, so the 3 out of 6 would be 1 out of 6, which is 0.6. And how many times did you actually get a number 3? 8 out of 20. Woo. divided by 2 over 2, which is equal to 4 over 10, which is equal to 0.4. Still not equal. Okay? Miss Swinger, what'd you get? What would y'all want? Even. So the even would be 3 out of 6, which is equal to 0.5. What'd you end up with? 9 out of 20, which is equal to 0.45, I think. Check my math. Still not equal. You may say it's rounded, but it's not equal. And Miss Brissy, what did y'all want?
6.
Huh?
6.
6. So that's 1 out of 6, which is equal to 0.16. And what did y'all end up with? 2 out of 20, which is equal to 0.1. Now again, all of these are not equal. You got 2 that's close. You got this one that's pretty close, and you got this one that's pretty close. This is highly unusual. Okay? Highly unusual. Now, why do these not equal? Because of the large number rule. Let me just tell you the story that they used to have in the book. But, you know, if something connects with students and something works well with students, what should you do? Quit using it. Is that what you said? Yeah, get rid of it. So that's what they did. People understood the large number rule the way it was being explained, so they took it out of the book. Just took the whole thing out. But anyway, back about 3 or 4 years ago at MIT or one of these computer-driven classes, there was these 2 students. And they decided to take a roll of quarters. And they took those roll of quarters and they took each one of them and weighed each one of them. They micrometered each one of them, the width and the radius and all that stuff. They put all those numbers in. Now, of course, a lot of them were about the same. But what they did is they made a virtual quarter out of the weights and measures of those. How many quarters? $10 worth, which is 40 quarters. There are 40 quarters. So they took those 40 quarters and they made one virtual, put the measurements and everything. They scanned it with some kind of scanner to scan exactly the way it looked. And what they did is they made the perfect quarter out of those 40 quarters. All right? And then they took that quarter and they wrote an algorithm in the computer to where you could put how many times you flip the quarter, how many times, what the probability would be that it would come up heads or tails. It doesn't matter. Heads or tails, same thing. It's 0.5 probability. How many times did it take that computer program to flip that quarter to get a 0.5 probability? Anybody want to take a guess? Yeah, it did. Huh? Nope. Good guess. Higher. Close. Too much. 100,000 flips in that computer program. And the probability came up to be 0.4999995. This substantiated the large number rule. The large number rule says basically, if you want to cover your rear end in probability, then you better make sure you do your homework. That's basically what it means. If I'm a director at Michelin, I don't know if that's spelled right or not. I can't spell Michelin, I'm not. But anyway, and the E right here. Yeah. Okay? Probably put it wrong second. If I'm a director of quality assurance at Michelin, and I work at Crystal Palace up there, which exit is that where California Dreaming is? You know where that big Crystal Palace is up there? That's the Michelin building. Huh? Pelham Road, I guess. Anyway, I work up there, and if you work in that building, that means you're making at least 6 figures. Okay? So you're a director of quality assurance for the Southeast. Okay? And you're coming into, they're having a big meeting there, and the director of all operations in North America is at that meeting. and they're trying to figure out the budget for next year. And your job as the director is to find out how many bad tires Michelin made last year and the year before and this year, so you can predict what? How many for next year, so they can put it in the budget. Okay, self-explanatory. Well, you like that money, but you don't like the work. So you go to the Sandy Springs plant. There's a plant in Greenville, isn't there? Right there at Donaldson Center. And I think there's a plant in Sandy Springs and over here in Anderson, Sandy Springs, and Greenville. And you just go to their quality assurance and you say, how many tires y'all do bad? How many were bad last month? 6? Okay, write it down. Then you do 6 at the Greenville and 10 at the Sandy Springs or whatever. And you present that to the board. You didn't check the last 2 or 3 years. You just checked last year, this year, or whatever, this year, and you just went to the quality assurance and you just said, how many? Okay? All right, you go to the board meeting, you fix up a nice PowerPoint, and you present, and you say that by this year's, and you don't lie, you don't say that you went back, you say this year's, by this year's numbers, we predict that 17% of the tires that North America makes is going to be bad. 20%. So we round it to 20%, and Michelin, the director of Northeast, whatever, North America Michelin's, he says, okay, we're going to make it 25%. And he puts 25% in the budget. The next year rolls around, and the number of bad tires was like 68%. What happens to you? You get fired. Okay? Because all they're paying you to do is one thing, and that's predict what's going to happen next year. Now, you may say, well, I ain't going to work for Michelin. Well, it happens in nursing. It happens in, I don't care if you work at Walmart. Wherever you might be in a place to where you find, well, Walmart, Target, it's called shrinkage. What's shrinkage? Nope. When it comes to a retail store, what is shrinkage? What people what? Steal. Okay? And you try to figure that out. You may be a department head, you may be a manager, but you got to figure out, something. As I'm not saying retail is small, but if you're talking about an executive with Michelin versus a manager at Walmart, there is a difference between the two, but you're still doing the same thing. All right? When you walk into a meeting and you're presenting, you better make sure you not only covered this year, you covered the last 10 years. If you're making a 6-figure income and you're reporting to a director of North American Services or North American Facilities or whatever, or the Southeast manager or somebody that's higher up than you, you better make sure you get enough numbers to back up your data, because they're basing next year's budget on your numbers. And that is one, I made that up every year, and I think I told your class that same one. I make that up every year because that's what executives do. That's what administrators do. They project. Now, I'm not going to be an administrator. Yeah, but you're going to be on the other end of the administrator. You're going to be on the end that receives this information. And you can't be ignorant and run around being ignorant the rest of your life. You got to understand that when they present something to you and they're 96 percentile, 96 approval, or I can't think of the word right now, but we're studying in chapter 7, confidence level. If they walk up to you and say, we're 96% confidence level, that means they're 96% confident that you're going to stay within these numbers, then that means that you understand what that means, that they've got the numbers to back it up, unless they half-ass do their job like that fella did that got fired at Michelin, that only did, this year. Okay, sometimes, I know that y'all don't like to hear this, not y'all, but all students. It requires for you to have a job that you have to, what's the word? Work. And that large number rule is the working in probability. Okay? So, if you want to get the most accurate measurements to raise your confidence interval, to raise your confidence level, to make sure that the sample predicts what the population is going to do, then you better have, instead of 10 numbers, you better have 1,000 numbers or 100,000 numbers or whatever the case may be. You better have 100,000 surveys instead of 10,000 surveys. You better have a lot of records the last 5 years to back up what you're saying for next year. And that's what the rule of large numbers tells us.
So they took this whole book that they replaced it with another sort of...
I don't know. I just got mad because they took that one out because it was very straightforward and it was very, everybody understood it because it was quarters. They took it out. It was in another book. It wasn't in this book. I don't know if this book even covers large number rule or the law of large numbers. I don't know if it does. You'll have to look. Okay. Huh? With the flipping? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, not all the time. You take a quarter and flip it twice, you might get both heads. That's why I used to pull up, but now I don't have it because of the applications. Of course, we had things that worked, so what do? Take it out. We had this program where I could bring up a die and I could flip it over and over and over and over and over. And so I would flip 10 times, and they would say, well, golly, 6 is showing up. I said, all right, well, let's bet a $100 bill on the number. Who y'all want to bet on the next 10? Everybody said 6. And I'd roll it, 2 would show up. 6 wouldn't even show up. Now explain that. And then 2 would show up like 6 times. And I'd say, all right, let's put another 100 bill down on the next 10. 2! And it's like that die just had ears. Because what would we roll next? 1s or 6s. It happens every single time, huh?
When you play also you roll like a large straight, they follow you.
Exactly. Same thing. And people were like, how does it know? How does it know? It doesn't. That's just what probability is. And that is what, and I hate the news that happened today about Vegas. That's what Vegas lives off of. If it wasn't for the die making up its own mind, we wouldn't have Vegas. We wouldn't have the lottery. We wouldn't have all these things that people like to play. If this die was as predictable as the little old lady on Wild Hog Road, we wouldn't have Vegas. There would be no gambling. But you can't predict what this little die is going to do. Just like you can't predict the future or the lottery numbers. Because if y'all could predict the future, would y'all be here? No, you'd be at home winning the lottery about every other month. All right, so that's the law of large numbers. Remember that. Okay, now I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint and see what actually is after that. Because that's basically what we've covered here. I thought I saw the law of large numbers somewhere. I guess I didn't. Probability distribution, possible outcomes. Okay, here's a probability distribution. All right. This is something different. Now remember, most of the probability distributions that you're going to have on the test is going to be kids. Remember, 2 people having, or a couple having 2 kids. What is their possibilities? Boy, 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 girl, girl, boy, girl, girl. Okay, that is a probability distribution. All right, you just got to write them down. But you actually have to calculate, and I'll show you what that means, because this can be confusing to you. All right, you don't have to write this down. Just hold on a second. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's easier for me to show you. Let's take, for example, the example I just gave you. A couple is having 2 kids. And then the actual probability, what is the probability of it being all girls? Okay? Now, the way that you do that is you would say boy, 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 girl, and flip that, girl, boy, then girl, girl. And then you could say to yourself, well, that's 1 out of 4. And that is 0.25. All right, that's the way you do it the theoretical way. All right, but another way to do it is by setting up a binomial distribution. And I have to add this point. The probability of probability of a girl is equal to 0.52. All right, now this is going to be given. You need to write that down. This is going to be given. And then you tell yourself, well, the probability of a girl is 0.52, then the probability of a boy is what? 0.48. Because that is the what? What is this? Complement. What makes up the whole? Okay, despite what some people say, there's only 2 ways that you're born. Okay? What's one of them, Xavier? A male. Miss Slack? Female. That's it. Okay? I don't care what anybody says, that's all there is. Okay? So, why these come up because evidently they're using a drug or something or other stuff, or I'm not going to get into the other stuff because there's other stuff that we don't need to get into, but they're saying that the probability of a girl is 0.52.
So the probability of a girl that's given, and then you have to figure out the complement?
It's always, yeah.
Okay.
It's always whatever makes up the whole, 1. So 52 cents, what makes up $1 for 52 cents? 48 cents. It's always the complement. So, you've got to figure a binomial distribution. So here we go. You got to do a chart. And this is X, and this is P of X. And then you just put boy, boy. And you put boy, girl. And you put girl, boy. And girl, girl. And then over here, you put 0.48 to the second power. And here, you put 0.48 times 0.52. Right here, you put 0.52 times 0.48. And then right here, you put 0.52 squared. Okay? So now, somebody tell me, take your calculator, and tell me what 0.48 squared is. 0.48, raise it to the second power. I'm sorry, what? 0.2304. Okay? 0.48 times 0.52. 2496. 0.2496. And what is 0.52 squared? 2704. So, to get down to the nitty gritty, what's the probability of having 2 girls? 0.27 versus 0.5, 0.25. So that's the difference between your theoretical, this is theoretical, and this is more like a probability distribution. Now it's very important that you write down this side right here and understand what I did. Okay, why did I raise it to the second power here? Because there's 2 boys. Same thing here. 2 girls, so I raised it to the second power. Here I took the probability of a boy times the probability of a girl. Probability of a girl times probability of a boy. Now, if I added all these up, what should I get? As you can see, they all were lying around 0.25, which they should. Okay? Now, here again, you're going to see, you remember z-scores? There was the, there was the empirical rule, which gave you an eyeball, but the z-score got it down to the nitty-gritty, right? Here, the theoretical gives you a eyeball, and what gets it down to the nitty-gritty? The probability distribution. Everything that we do in probability and statistics, you're going to have this way, and then you're going to have this way that gets it down to what? The nitty-gritty. Okay, because you can't survive off shooting from the hip. Okay? You may do it one meeting, you may do it 2 meetings, but I doubt very seriously you're going to shoot from the hip 3 meetings and still be employed. Okay? Especially the more money you make. Because the more money you make, the more stress you what? You have. And it's very true. That's why there's two things in the world I could not be. And that is a lawyer or a doctor. There's no way in Hades you could pay me to be either one of them. Especially a lawyer. Now I could, if I was going to be a lawyer, it would be a lawyer to put people on death row. I'd be a prosecutor. Okay? There's no way in Hades I'd be a defendant. Or is that what you call it? If it's the term? No. I would be a prosecutor. If I was a doctor, it would be in a little shack about 2 or 3,000 miles away from the nearest hospital in a little community where people bring me their sick kids and sick parents, and that's it. All right? These doctors and lawyers now, one lawyer I would not be is a domesticated, whatever, where you do with divorces and stuff like that. No way in Hades. After the divorce I went through, I couldn't be a divorce attorney. There's no way. But anyway, the more stress you have, the more you get paid. And the more you have to deal with getting down to the nitty-gritty, the more you should get paid. Now, whether you do get paid or not, I don't know. Okay? Remember that when you volunteer for stuff. One thing they tell you in the Marine Corps is never, ever, what? I just said for to be. Volunteer. Never volunteer for anything. When I was at boot camp, I remembered I had 2 or 3 Marine buddies. They told me never, do not get your hair cut before you go down there. Do not wear an earring down there. Which I didn't have an earring. Never had one. And do not volunteer. And keep your mouth shut. Don't ever open your mouth. And do not volunteer for anything. Well, up came 3rd phase, and we were given a little bit of freedom where we could do things on the base without being shouted at. And the drill instructor said, okay, who in here has got a license? Driver's license. And everybody raised their hand. I didn't raise my hand. I was a squad leader. I knew better. I didn't raise my hand. But of course, about 5 people raised their hands. They didn't know not to volunteer. They were pretty much the dumbest ones in the group. And so they had to drive wheelbarrows all day. So that's why they drove wheelbarrows, because they had a driver's license. Never volunteer for anything. If you're in a job and you got to use the volunteer very sparingly, or you'll get taken what? Advantage of. Now you can use it to be a better employee to work your way up, but you can also be abused with it. Yeah, exactly. Unless it's what? Overtime. I got a good friend. He works a lot of overtime, and he does it because they pay him time and a half. But anyway, that's that. That's a binomial distribution. I mean, a probability distribution. This is the one I like to put on the test, and I'll do 3 kids. You'll have to see if you can do 3 kids. all right, and just make up a probability for being a girl, like 0.46 or whatever, and see if you can find the probability of having 3 girls with a couple that wants 3 children. Those are the 2 types of test questions I would ask you for a probability distribution. Okay? Now, the question that they give you, let's see if we can associate it. Here it is right here, represent, blah, 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 blah. Well, they don't give you, okay, the possible outcomes and probability distribution of when 2 dice are rolled or shown. Okay, look at it and see if you can make sense of it. This is a homework question, so you need to write it down. Possible outcomes and probability distributed. So what you need to do is not write this down, well, write it down, but put it on an index card with the 2 kids and the 3 kids, and maybe up to 4 kids. And this is the 4th one. So these are 4 index cards that you should write and have ready for the test. That way you won't have to write it down. Okay? And then it says this is the probability of an 8. Evidently the probability of an 8. Well, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 eighths right there. So 5 out of what? 36? That would be your, there. 5 out of 36 would be your theoretical what? Probability. So that's not down to the nitty-gritty. You've got to figure out the binomial distribution. All right? Now, what is the minimum number that can be rolled with 2 die? 2, yeah. You go for the maximum. Maximum be 12. So set up your binomial distribution, and x, what would x start with? 2. And it would end in 12. Do that. And then by this chart, tell me how many 2's there are out of 36. See what I'm saying? How many 3's there are, how many 4's there are, how many 5's, how many 6's, how many 7's, how many 8's, how many 9's, and then that's your probabilities. So, in this case, let me see if I can use this handy dandy. There we go. You would have x 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And how many did I say was 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of what? 36? 5 out of 36. Let's go with 2. How many 2's? 1 out of 36. How many 3's? You'll see a pattern here in just a minute. How many 4's? 5's? 6? And 7. And then what happens? Goes back down. Parabolic function. Goes back down. 5. How many 9's? 4. 3. 2. And 1. And here is your probability distribution, P of x. And you would change that into decimals if needed. Yep. Somebody tell me what is it? Crap table is based on? Huh? It's based on rolling a 7. One of the things it's based on. I don't really understand that table, so I stay away from it. I go to blackjack. The reason you could be ignorant as Hades and still be able to win at blackjack. Okay? But the problem is when you go into a casino, they're talking so fast and doing things so fast, you have no idea. They should have a area in the casino, and it's called Gambling for Dummies. That's where I would go, because they talk so fast and they throw them cards out so fast. I don't know what they're doing. Blackjack, I do know what they're doing. But then they say, okay, you're going to split them? And I'm like, yeah. That's why you always go to a dead table. That way the dealer can explain some of the stuff to you as they're going. Don't go to a table that's got 15 people around it. Yeah, they're training wheels. Yeah, they need a training room, especially for people like me. Now, I did go, when I was in Denver, I went to Denver 2 years ago for a alpha conference. And I actually went to the casino, went to New Orleans the year before that, and I won like $300 and then lost it all. So I said,
they played craps and they won money, but they didn't even know what they were doing.
yeah,
They didn't know how they won. They just
I have no idea how you play craps, and the directions are so long and involved that once you get past like the second or third row of, you're like, bump it, just forget it. All right, so that's that. Next page. I should just go. Okay. Hold on a minute. Okay, why is PowerPoint stopped working? Oh, that's great. I guess PowerPoint wants to quit. I do want to finish this section. What section was it? 7? 7A? Is it back there? Yeah. Odds. Now the best way to show this is not the way the PowerPoint shows you. So we'll go to the whiteboard and I'll show you. I'm just not hitting on all 8 cylinders today for some reason. It's the Russians' fault. Odds against is equal to the probability of failure over probability of success. Odds in favor is the probability of success over the probability of failure. Now, one thing about odds, leave in fraction form. Highlight that because it's easier to work with if you leave the numbers in fractional form. Okay, I'll show you in just a minute. Now, how do you judge what is failure or what is success? Well, whatever's winning is success. So let's say I will give you a $100 bill, Xavier, if I roll a 6 on this die. Okay, so what's the probability of failure? Not rolling a what? 6. All right. Whatever the question says is winning, that is success. 6. He's dead. I wish I could. I wish I could give you 200. I ain't got no money. Yeah, we ain't got no money. All right. So, success is what's winning. Failure is win with the X to it. Now you could say losing, but in gambling, there's winning and then not winning. You don't say losing because you'll see a problem. I'm going to show you in just a minute. All right, so anyway. Why do I do odds against? Because that is what Vegas likes. Okay? Does Vegas want you to win? No. Because Vegas and the banks, they're not in the charity business. Right? They want to get as much money out of you as they can. So they want to bet against you. All right? So, if the odds are high, which is Vegas, okay, then the probability of winning is what? If they're not in the charity business, are low. Exactly. I remember back a long time ago, I don't know how long it's been, probably 15 years ago, South Carolina had poker machines. Oh my God. That was like the cigarettes and the crack cocaine of the gambling industry. Every toothless redneck in South Carolina was playing those things and putting their whole paycheck in. And the government was worried to death because the lottery was coming next. And they didn't want the people in South Carolina to be able to buy the lottery because we were too ignorant to deal with it, because all of our paychecks were going into the crack machine, the poker machines. But I remember that you put in, they made them where you could put in $1 or quarters or $1 or $5. All right? And you would win if you got a certain hand or whatever, you would win money. But then they came out with the nickel machines, where you could put nickels in it. And you could put a $5 bill in it, and that would be, how many nickels are in $1? 20? So that'd be 20 times, that'd be 100 nickels. So you could get 100 games or 100 credits by playing nickels. Now, if the probability of playing nickels, is the probability going to be higher of winning? Yes. But what are the odds going to be? They're going to be lower. So are you going to win more money? No. Okay? The easier something is, this is life. The easier something is, chances are you're not going to get a lot for it. All right? If something is more difficult, aka degree, all right? If you pick an underwater firefighting degree, guess what? You're not going to get a job because people aren't going to hire you for underwater firefighting. But if you get a degree in science, or you get a degree in nursing, or you get a degree in computer technology, or you get a degree in math teaching or history teaching or something that's demanded, then you're going to get. But what's the difference between an underwater firefighting degree and a mathematics degree? What's the difference? The underwater firefighting degree doesn't have any math or science in it. See what I'm saying? Okay, nursing degree. What does nursing? Is it time to go, or you got to leave early?
Yeah.
Okay. A nursing. Oh yeah, that's right. You got class. Nursing degree. Why doesn't everybody be a nurse? Because how much biology do you have to take as a nurse? 80% of your courses are biology. I don't want to fool with biology. That's too what? Too hard. I have to work. I'll just go over here and get this degree in female studies. That's what I'll get my degree in. There is a degree at Yale, female studies. Nothing. It's about three steps below sociology, the sociology degree, which there is application for sociology, like being a social worker and stuff like that. But it's not a very demanding degree program. That's why you see a lot of football players playing it. Okay? It's not very demanding. You read and you do reports. That's all. But it's kind of like everything. You get out of it what you put into it. Okay? And nothing is free. So if you go to Vegas and there's this table there and it says you could win $1 million, that could is very, very faint, because they do not want to give you $1 million. They want to take $1 million from you. So if you see something that says you can win $1 million with just one pull, then chances are they're very low that you're going to win. The probability is very low. All right? So here's an example. Let's see. I'll do an example right quick because I know the time is ticking. 12:18. Oh, yeah. Okay. We won't do an example today because they're going to knock down the door. But you should be able to work on some homework now out of 7.1 or 7A. Okay? Y'all get out of here. Have a good day. Mr. Barbie, have a good day if you ain't asleep. He done left again.